First, I'd like to say just how wonderful it is to be here. Okay. My name is Helena Robbins, and I'm in grade 11. I've been making work for as long as I can remember. Being an artist and making meaningful work is difficult, but so important. In the words of Mr. Very, art is harder than brain surgery. Brain surgery can be taught as a process, whereas art is individual to each of us. It is both a conceptual and a physical practice. I'm still learning exactly why I make what I make, but I've been making it long enough to see patterns emerge, like in every living thing. I wanted to do this talk to gain understanding, to find clarity in my work, and if I am successful, to provide the audience, you, a way to find a similar clarity in your own lives. My work relies on recurring personal symbols, and the two most notable are cars from the 60s and 70s and birds. My love for both of these symbols goes back to my early childhood. When I was small, I would ride on the front of my parents' bikes, and this led to the outdoors being a source of great inspiration in all of my work. When I got a little older, I learned to ride my own bike, and because of where I live, I had to learn to ride up a certain enormous hill. And I couldn't reach the top for many, many years, and I tried in small increments, and I would get a little further every time. But often I would have to come to a stop midway, and I always stopped in the same place, next to a house with a blue car. It has been in the same place for as long as I can remember, sinking into the ground, deteriorating, the rubber melting in the sun. I probably passed it 1,000 times. After returning from a trip last summer, I saw that the car was gone. Now this was a shock to my entire family because it has been sitting in that same place since before I was born. I always thought it was beautiful and like an artwork. It had its own story and experienced the force of weather. Nature was the artist and the car a piece of clay. So after its disappearance, I began to incorporate the image of similar cars as a symbol of the Earth's power and resilience. Because the work of nature is so hard to describe and such a complex concept, I simplify it into this representation, this symbol of the old car. My other recurring symbol is birds. They live in my sketchbook, but also I live with one. I include birds in all of my most meaningful work, and humans have been captivated by birds for centuries. They're charged with history, and I think of them as an escape from this world, and they take me into the world of my creation. They're like a symbolic teleport that removes me from the real world and allows me to be completely absorbed in my work. I reread the world in terms of these symbols to better understand it and create something more beautiful than what was before. Now, another example is words. Words have never come easily to me, but I like the way that they hold energy. I apply meaning based on what internal connections they evoke. In one of my pieces, I use the word hold fast. The energy it evokes has a sense of urgency and desperation, though the words might not necessarily mean that. All in all, my work is an amalgamation of the things that make up my life, and like a machine, I take them in and then spit them back out again, so that I can in a way that I can understand and hope that makes others understand or feel something new and wonderful, and maybe provide some type of wonder or clarity that I was able to give myself. Art is important. It is my tool. Thank you so much.